Hello everyone. So a few days ago I got Mayhem in the Morra by Marc Esserman. It is a book about the Morra Gambit against the Sicilian defense, and I'm having a lot of fun reading it so far. And just this morning I had a beautiful miniature game where I got checkmate in 20 moves with 96% accuracy and a brilliant bishop sacrifice, and I want to show you that game today. So I was white and I played pawn to e4, and black played pawn to c5, the Sicilian defense, and instead of playing like knight to f3 or going to all these main lines, I play pawn to d4. The Smith-Morra Gambit, black's only really good move here is to capture the pawn, and now instead of recapturing the queen, because they can go knight to c6 and this is just bad, I play pawn to c3, offering them another chance to capture the pawn, and they do, and now they play knight captures back on c3, and for the price of the one pawn, I will now get my other knight out, I will get both my bishops out in very aggressive squares, and I'll just have a very nice and open attacking position, while black kind of has to suffer with a lot less. But this is actually a very important position here because black has to decide on what setup they're going to play, and they decide on the Schwenningen setup, which is pawn to a6, so I just develop my bishop normally, pawn to e6, I put my other knight out, and now pawn to d6. And this is the Schwenningen Sicilian, but instead of the actual Sicilian, this is the setup here, which is pawn e6, pawn d6, and pawn a6. And this might look kind of odd, wouldn't it be better to just develop your pieces, but this is one of the best approaches against the Morra Gambit. And black's idea is they're going to simply go bishop to e7, knight out to f6, castle, and just try to get a really safe position and consolidate their up one pawn advantage. So I simply castle here, and now black plays a move, queen to c7. And this is a bit of a mistake, because even though it attacks the bishop and it gets their queen out, the queen on c7 in the Morra Gambit is famously a very bad square for it, is just going to be a target, and also you really shouldn't be moving the queen out before you get at least the knight or the bishop out or something else. So I play queen to e2, defending the bishop, and also opening up my rook to later come into the action, and black plays knight to c6, just developing their knight. I keep developing my pieces, bishop to f4, and you can see here that even though I'm down a pawn, I have all of my pieces developed. My queen developed, my rooks are coming, or are ready to come in, my king is castled, and black just has a queen and a knight, which is like almost nothing in comparison to what I have. And black here makes a pretty major mistake, which is knight to e5. And this move kind of looks odd, but the idea of it is that they're going to try and clog up the center and just make it very difficult for my pieces to actually do anything. But in this case, it is actually a mistake because this move is normally a decent idea. However, here it's just not very good because no knight or bishop has been developed yet. Since after I capture with the bishop and black takes back, you can really see the development problem for black here. They just have a queen. They just have a queen, they have nothing else, and I'm just ready to absolutely start mauling them. So I go rook a to c1, targeting the queen on its square here, and black plays bishop to d7. It might not look like it, but this is actually a blunder, and I have an incredible sacrifice here that I'm really proud of that I found in the game. I'll give you a second to try and find it. Alright, in the beautiful sacrifice to win, this is the only way to get a convincing winning advantage, is bishop takes on e6. Beautiful sacrifice. And the idea of this is that after black takes back, now I go knight to d5. And now my rook on the c file and my knight both attack the c7 queen, so it will have to move, and then I'll get my knight into the c7 square here. So real quick, if they play bishop takes, then after knight to d5, we get basically the exact same situation. So yeah, they have to take the pawn, now knight to d5, and here, black's best way to play that they missed in the game is actually to sacrifice the queen on c1. I take back, oh, sorry, not that, I take back, and now they can take my knight, and they get a lot of material here. However, now I can just take back on d5, and even though I'm still down one pawn here, their king is just getting absolutely ravaged in the center, this pawn will be lost, and they're just getting, completely murdered here, so that's still very, very bad for them. But they play the move queen back to b8, which is actually a very big mistake. Now, I drop my knight into c7, fork their king and the rook, and here is a very important detail. They move their king up to e7, and the move here, the best move that I played, that once again I'm very proud of, is not capturing the rook. You don't want to capture the rook here, since even though it is still completely winning, after they take back, we have now lost one of our biggest attacking pieces, and they have a much higher likelihood here of consolidating and, maybe not completely losing immediately. Instead, I play the move knight takes on e5, not capturing the rook, but keeping my very powerful knight here and bringing one of my inactive pieces into the attack. And this king here, it's just sitting out in the open. It will get absolutely destroyed. So they play knight to f6, normal move, developing a piece. And here I take on d7. And that move might look a little odd since I'm not capturing the rook, but I am capturing the bishop. And you just say something about, keeping your pieces on the board and all that. The reason I want to capture on d7 here is that this bishop is a critical defender. As soon as black loses this bishop here, their entire position will fall apart, and that exact thing happens. I take on d7. They will take back their king. If they take back their knight, then we have the exact same idea. And the very nice move here, that is the best move that I once again found, I'm very proud of, if you can't tell, is queen to c4. Not a check, but instead defending the knight and also attacking e6, which is actually impossible to defend. They simply have no way to actually defend that pawn. If they capture back the knight, then once again, queen to c4. This pawn cannot be defended here. So queen c4 attacking the pawn, it can't be defended. So black here tried queen to c8, which is, it's an attempt to survive, but it just doesn't really work. I take on e6 now. Black only has one legal move, back their king up, and now I bring the last piece that is not active in the attack, other rook, to d1, and now you can see every single one of my pieces is just absolutely dominating black here. My knight, my queen, my rooks, everything. And they try knight back to d7, but this simply does not work because now I take advantage of the fact that our knight is still on c7, and queen to e8 is a beautiful checkmate. So my opponent did not play the absolute best they could have, but I am still very proud of this game, and I am really excited to keep reading this book since, I've only read the first, I think 3 or 4 chapters, and I'm already getting beautiful miniatures like this, and I'm sure I'm going to get more and more as I keep reading the book. Alright, thank you so much for watching, like, subscribe, do all that stuff, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for watching.